Hi, and welcome to another episode of the Cover Zero podcast, the show where I cover the least in the best way possible. I'm your host, Jason Wells. Today is Wednesday, September 24th. Another wild week of football in the books. Multiple blocked field goals. In this one, we had one of the individually best defensive performances ever. Miami didn't really disappoint me. I mean, you can't go lower than the floor, in my opinion, but Miami at least showed some fight. Still ended up very disappointing on the outcome of that game, just based off how it ended. But we'll talk about that when we talk about that. And it was weirdly the week of third string tight ends making plays. Jackson Hawes, Jack Stoll, and Drew Sample all caught TDs on the day. Those are not notable names, but was another good week of football. I'm happy that Miami did play that Thursday night game because I got to enjoy all of the Sunday games and all of the wildness that happened at the end of some of those games there. But this week, obviously going to be recapping the Week 3 games and then starting off with the college football highlights. Lots happening in college football at the moment. Lots happening in the NFL, so I guess let's just get into these college football highlights. True freshman quarterbacks, that seems to be a trend this year. Malik Washington, Bryce Underwood, and I'm going to mess up this guy's name, but JKS, Jaron Kaway Sagapu Pulatele. Again, I think I messed that up, but all three have been absolutely electric to start their college careers. Now, none of these guys are eligible until the 2028 draft, so obviously we're a while away, but those are three QBs to kind of, again, put in the bank, put in the vault, file it away, but these guys might be high-end prospects when we get to it. Florida went into the game against Miami as the third best pass blocking grade for their offensive line in the country. They finished with a 2.2 PFF grade. Miami wins 26-7. Now, don't put a lot in stock in the PFF, but going from third best in the country to a 2.2, that's absolutely crazy, and a big part because of that is Ruben Bain Jr., now up to 22 pressures on the year. He has been the best edge in the country by a mile. He should probably be in the Heisman conversation just a little bit. Will probably end up being a top 5 pick in the NFL draft, so just as a name to watch out for. Oklahoma faces Auburn, and former Oklahoma QB Jackson Arnold and Oklahoma got the better of them. They sack Arnold 10 times on the day on way to a 24-17 victory. And a big part of that win was edge rusher R. Mason Thomas, 2 sacks in the second half on the day. Didn't play the first half because he got suspended for a targeting call, so 2 sacks in one half. Also had a safety to really cap off that win. R. Mason Thomas, another person to look out for as a first-round pick. And speaking of Auburn, Auburn has a 17-year-old on the roster, and this isn't like a Ryan Williams, Jeremiah Smith thing from last year. This kid turned 17 in April. So he's technically should be in his senior year of high school, and no, he's on the Auburn football roster as a 17-year-old. That's absolutely crazy. Purdue runs one of the best trick plays we've seen in a while. Inside run, running back right before he hits the line, turns, sees the QB who's running out the back, running a wheel route there for him. Easy touchdown, but that was just a crazy trick play. Texas Tech kicker nails a 58-yard field goal against Utah. Could have been good from 65. And that's right after announcer Joel Klatt says that, I don't think he has the leg for this. And he absolutely nails it. Fuck you, Joel Klatt. Syracuse upsets Clemson 34-21. Clemson is terrible, and they might have 5 guys drafted in the first round in this upcoming draft, which absolutely makes no sense. But yeah, Clemson not looking good whatsoever. And then finally, QB1, Fernando Mendoza, another crazy game for him. They beat number 9 Illinois 63-10. Mendoza, 21 of 23, 267 yards and 5 TDs on the day. He's completing 77% of his passes right now in college. That's absolutely crazy. And those are the college football highlights. Let's get into this NFL weekly recap here, starting off with the Monday night game. Lions at Ravens. Lions 38, Ravens 30. Everyone owes John Morden, the Lions OC, the new Lions OC, a big apology. After week one, lots of people panicking, lots of people, oh, the Lions are cooked, oh, they don't have Ben Johnson anymore, Dan Campbell's not a good head coach, blah, blah, blah. None of those things are true. Dan Campbell is the head coach who resurrected the Lions franchise from obscurity into, again, they haven't really won anything yet, but the Lions are now a very good franchise. And yeah, I trust Dan Campbell a lot when it comes to his coaching. And yeah, the Lions still have the pieces everywhere. They absolutely cooked in this one. I mean, the run game is so good with Gibbs and Monty. The passing attack was going. The defense played, again, they gave up 30 points, but the defense still played relatively well, all things considered. No, this was a very good game to watch, and this is one of those games where I was like, I was hoping that I could go to bed at halftime, because, like, again, everything's a little later out here, but no, the Lions absolutely crushed it. Shout out to the defense, though. They sacked Lamar. Jesus, how many times did they sack Lamar? They sacked Lamar 7 times on the day. That is something that is very hard to do. Of course, we all know. Lamar, very hard man to get on the ground, but they managed to get him 7 times. One from Jack Campbell, one from Derek Barnes, one from Trevor Nowowski, half a sack from Alex Anzalone, a sack from Aiden Hutchinson, and then 2.5 sacks from Al-Qaeda Muhammad. You might not know that name, but Al-Qaeda Muhammad was part of that 2017 Saints draft class that had like Marshawn Lattimore, Ryan Ramczyk, Trey Hendrickson, Alex Anzalone, like one of the best draft classes ever. And now Al-Qaeda Muhammad is all of a sudden like, oh, I'm here too. I was part of that draft class too. And yeah, he's had a very good start to this season. I think that he's the opposing edge rusher from Aiden Hutchinson right now, so he's just kind of getting free reign. Either way, the Lions played great. And Lions, again, I'm very comfortable with them going forward and how they're going to be projected and blah, blah, blah. The Lions are remaining one of the cream of the crops of the NFC. That NFC North division going to be crazy to battle out. Ravens on the other side, they fall to 1-2 on the season. Yeah, they had a slow start yet last year, so this is kind of nothing new for them. Yeah, the Lions were just simply the better team. They played better team football. Derrick Henry, another fumble. He had 3 carries. He had 3 fumbles in the first 9 years of his career. That can't be true. Either way, he had 3 fumbles in some time frame that was a long time frame. I forget what the stat was, but he's had 3 fumbles so far to start this season, 1 in every game so far. People in my college class be like, oh, Derrick Henry, he fumbles so much. He sucks. Please trade him to me in fantasy. I'm going to try to make that move because I don't like my running backs whatsoever, but I digress. Yeah, again, the Ravens offense, I have no issues in what they do or how they look. It's a very good offense. Again, they scored 30 points. Obviously, you don't like the fumble from Derrick Henry, but the rest, it was, again, the Ravens offense. It is how it looks. Ravens defense, on the other hand, not good. Not good. I thought this defense had the opportunity to be one of the best in the league. They're missing Kyle Van Noy, obviously, now, and they had absolutely zero pass rush in this one. I also think that they're missing Nnamdi Madubuike, which is also a crazy, which is like a big player for them to lose to. Like, that's arguably their best defensive player at the moment. Yeah, he didn't play in this game. So, yeah, they had 0 pass rush to go against the still, again, relatively good Lions offensive line. Roquan Smith just does not look like the Roquan Smith that we're used to from the last couple years. It looks like he's taking a step back, and that's obviously a huge hit to this defense. Marlon Humphrey cannot hold up in coverage. anymore, and I think that was kind of, they were trending towards that last year, but he is just a dog, and yeah, he probably shouldn't be covering on the outside very well, but that's why they brought in Jair, but Jair hasn't played yet either. Either way, lots of injuries to go around. They sold their soul for Mike Green, potentially, and he can't get after the quarterback either. Ravens defense, I would absolutely be worried about. They are tied with Miami for the most points allowed on the season with 97. You should not be tied with Miami in any kind of defensive stats. So yeah, I would absolutely be worried about the Ravens. Have they had a tough start to the schedule? Yeah, they have. I mean, it was the Bills, then the Browns, and then the Lions. So they 2 games were tough. And yeah, the Browns still played them tough regardless. Which, that's the other thing that's crazy. I think the Browns put up 10 points in that game, where that means that between the Lions and the Bills, that obviously they put up the other 87 points of that, which, again, makes perfect sense. But, yeah, I'm a little worried about the Ravens. Just their defense, but, again, we can keep going. Dolphins 21, Bills 31. They gave me a little bit of hope. I was texting with the boys throughout the game, and I would give, like, the confidence meter. And when we got to that 4th down situation, and they were punting, and the game was still tied at that point, and Miami was getting the ball back, and I was like, okay, confidence meter up to, 24.5, because I was like, we're still going to lose this. And what does Zach Seiler do? Roughing the kicker. 1st down, Bills. That was the game. Zach Seiler, I have missed your name being called by the announcers, and I didn't want your name to be called in this aspect. No, was a rough game. I mean, it wasn't a rough game. Miami, again, they showed heart. They showed promise. We'll start with the Bills, though. The Bills, again, could do literally whatever they wanted. Josh Allen and Tua kind of had similar games, obviously much different outcomes, and Tua threw that bad interception again. Much different outcomes, but yeah, Josh Allen doesn't need to do much, really anymore, especially when you play a bad defense like Miami. He was just dinking and dunking down the field. James Cook, electric in the run game, as always. The Bills had control. Yeah, it was close and whatever, but the Bills kind of had control the entire time in this game. Nothing they did really shocked me. No Ed Oliver, no Matt Milano. Their defense didn't look great, and that's kind of another thing, like the Ravens, that the Bills also worry me, is their defense has not been as sharp as I would like it to look. Obviously, no Ed Oliver, no Matt Milano. They're still missing their 1st-round pick, Maxwell Harrison, who's coming back from injury. But regardless, I didn't think the Bills looked great, but were they in control the entire game? Yeah. Did they win the game? Yes. So it is what it is. Miami on the other side. Yeah, I had hope. I had thoughts and feelings and how things should have went. I don't understand why our offense it's a running back swing pass seemingly every single time. It's a screen. It's a whatever. Because Tua had time in the pocket. This wasn't the Bills' pass rush was getting home and blah, blah, blah. Tua had time. This wasn't an issue, and I don't know, again, as someone who doesn't watch the all-22 footage going back, and I don't know what was happening down the field, really, but to me, Tyreek, Waddle, Malik Washington, someone should be getting open consistently, and apparently that wasn't happening. I don't know if it's Tua missing it. I don't know if it's the plays that McDaniel is calling. Doesn't make a ton of sense to me regardless, but yeah, our offense just kind of looked the same. That first drive was incredible because Mike McDaniel finally remembered, oh my god, we have a guy named Ollie Gordon who's 6'2", 220, runs fast, runs hard, runs for, the exact opposite of Achane. And Achane's fantastic, but we need a power element to our run game. And Ollie Gordon was great. And then after that first drive, Ollie Gordon scores a touchdown. It's fantastic. And then it's, time to forget about Ollie Gordon for the next 3 quarters until the 4th. Again, it's the same stuff as usual that I talk about with the Dolphins. It's the play calling. It's it doesn't make sense to me. And as an offensive guru that McDaniel's supposed to be, I think with an offense with as many quality skill players as we have, it should look more like a functioning normal offense, but it never does, and that's just kind of the story. Yeah, and then we have a chance to go down, tie the game, and then Tua throws an awful interception. Listen, Tua might have a condition where, he's taken so many hits to the head at this point, and it's really sad, but he might have linebacker blindness. If you don't know, it's a condition where you can't see the middle of the field whatsoever. Everything is just kind of a blur there because, once again, Tua throws right to the linebacker. Was it a great play by Terrell Bernard? Yeah, it was, but doesn't help the fact that Tua didn't see him whatsoever. Bernard talked about that they knew that this was a play that the Dolphins could run in this situation, and that's exactly what they did. Miami, constantly predictable. It is what it is. Again, I'm happy that they showed some fights, showed some heart. I'm happy that the pass rush came alive a little bit. I would like Jalen Phillips to start rushing the pass rusher instead of dropping back in the coverage. That doesn't make a ton of sense to me, but Miami played decently well. Still not excited, but we can keep going. Colts 41, Titans 20. Indiana Jones and the Colts strike again. Yeah, I don't know. With the Colts, it looks like they're good. They have punted once this entire season so far. That is the fewest since at least 1940, and I think if you go before that, you just can't find the data. So the Colts have punted the least amount of times in NFL history, in my opinion, through 3 games, which is absolutely nuts. Jonathan Taylor continues to be a stud, and we all know he's a stud. 17 carries, 102 yards, 3 TDs on the day. The defense was getting going. They had 4 sacks on Cam Ward and 1 from Ottawa native Neville Gallimore. Love to shout out Neville. The Colts are just a really complete team. Again, from top to bottom, and I've kind of been saying this the last couple weeks, but offensive line, good. Jonathan Taylor, a stud. Pittman, Warren, Downs, Mitchell, Pierce, all very good receivers. The defense playing very sound football right now. And Daniel Jones, playing the best football of his career. He had another pretty good game in this one. Didn't have to do much. But again, when Daniel Jones just plays average football, that is more than enough for this team to win the game. And at this moment, the Colts kind of have a stranglehold of the AFC South. I would love to see them win this division. Love to see kind of the resurrection of Daniel Jones' career, and then I would love to see Daniel Jones get another $100 million contract for himself. Again, hope that doesn't come from my team, but after this season, if Daniel Jones has a really good season, someone is going to pay him. I think it might be the Colts. We'll see though, but Colts have been fun. Have they played anyone to start the season? No, not really. So they have a tough test this week. I forget who they play, but they do have a tough test this week. And that's all for Friday's show. Titans on the other side. Until Brian Callahan gets fired, this offense is terrible. It looks dysfunctional. It looks not good. The offensive line still isn't playing great. Calvin Ridley continues, again, to get open and be a good option, but he keeps dropping the football, which is bad. Canadian Alec Manor continues to have a very good rookie year, so shout out to him. No, this is all you want to see from the Titans is positive progression and good plays from Cam Ward. Obviously started off the game terribly. He threw one of the worst pick sixes. That's like a classic rookie mistake pick six where you're looking, and it's like, oh, I finally have the flat. But of course, when you see that, the linebacker is already flying to make that play. Cam Ward clearly didn't see him. Pick six, easiest pick six Kenny Moore will ever have in his career. The Titans just aren't good. It is what it is. But again, this is a first year. I mean, it's not the first year. Technically, it's the first year of your rebuild. Really, you get the quarterback, whatever. But now it seems, okay, fire Brian Callahan. He should be the first coach fired, in my opinion. But I guess we'll see. Keep going here. Steelers at Patriots. Steelers 21. Patriots 14. Both of these teams are not good. But there's also levels to not good. So the Patriots... Bad all around. Defense is actually pretty solid. I'll give them credit there. They still don't have Christian Gonzalez, so I think that defense will get better. The offense, though, offensive line, okay. Running backs, bad. Wide receivers, non-existent. Shout out to Hunter Henry, though. He's still a stud into his career. Drake May still doing, again, playing good football, but it's just he can't overcome most of the incompetencies on this offense. And then the Steelers on the other side of it, you forced 5 turnovers in this game and let the Patriots hang around to almost win it. The Steelers, it's the same story every year. They'll have an okay offense. The defense will be really good, but now I think it's a slightly better offense than what they have, and this defense has regressed a little bit. I think the defense did look better in this one. Obviously, they forced 5 turnovers, but I think it's more of a case of the New England running backs have a case of the popcorn hands. Ramondre Stevenson, 2 fumbles. Antonio Gibson, another fumble. I don't know, maybe give it to your rookie running back, TreVeyon Henderson, who has never fumbled in college and is just not getting the opportunities that Stevenson and Gibson have getting. Use your rookies. They're usually good. You pick them high for a reason. You know what you have in Stevenson and Gibson. They're average running backs at best, and then they fumble the ball a lot. That's not good. Patriots should be playing Stevenson just way more. Yeah, and the Steelers, again, their defense played probably the best game of their season so far. Did it come against the Patriots? Yes. It doesn't really count. We'll see. But they got Derek Harmon back, and the defense did look better. The pass rush did take a jump. The run defense did take a jump. So that was big news for them. Again, we'll see how the rest of the season looks out. Last note here, Aaron Rodgers passes Brett Favre for 4th all-time on the QB career passing TDs list. Which is something I didn't realize, that Aaron Rodgers was that close. Obviously, I knew he was high up there, but I didn't realize he was next to pass Favre. And I honestly think that that's the entire reason why Aaron Rodgers was still playing football. Because I think that Aaron Rodgers likes to hold a grudge. I don't think this is really new news to anybody. But yeah, I think Rodgers is petty, likes to hold a grudge, and he does not like Brett Favre. And I think that he saw Brett Favre ahead of him in that QB passing list, and he's like, fuck you. I'm going to get more TDs than you did in your career, and I'm going to be above you in every ranking list and blah, blah, blah. Because that's just, again, I think that Aaron Rodgers is petty enough. And do I really like Aaron Rodgers? No. Do I think he's a million times a better person than Brett Favre? Absolutely. So shout out to Aaron Rodgers for passing Brett Favre for 4th on the career TDs list. We'll keep going here. Jets 27, Bucks 29. Bucks 3-0 this season, with every win coming with a go-ahead score in the final minute of the game. Yeah. Baker's got that dog in him. Literally, what else can you say? Missing 3 starters on the offensive line. Mike Evans leaves with a hamstring injury in this one, and they still get it done. I don't know, when you see those, pictures of it's build your perfect QB. And I literally did one over the offseason with Art, Connor, and Brian. Great episode. You should check that out. Regardless. But it's you have, their mentals, their arm power, their speed, their, all of those things. Give me Baker Mayfield's, mental side of, any other QB. He's just got that it factor that regardless of how far you're down, how far you, how little time left, Baker will go down and lead this team on a drive, trying his absolute damnedest to make a play. Baker is, again, he's not a special player, but there's something about Baker that just gives him that it factor where, yeah, he's constantly making plays, coming from behind, having these huge moments. Baker's awesome. Baker is one of my favorite QBs to watch in this league. I think that he has quietly inserted himself into the MVP conversation. I'm very excited, again, when he gets Wirfs and Godwin and Gadecki, and hopefully Mike Evans is okay, and that offense is fully healthy for the most part. I'm very interested to see how great that offense looks, but I guess we will see. Jets on the other side, again, they had a blocked field goal. They thought that they probably won this game. It was great. And then Baker comes back. They win. Jets offense hasn't looked great, obviously. The Jets defense has looked really bad. I think that's really where we should start, because the Jets did end up scoring 20 points and the run game's okay, but Tyrod Taylor, I mean, as much of a better passer he is than Justin Fields, there's no weapons for him to throw to other than Garrett Wilson. But yeah, this Jets defense is not good. And I expected a pass rush with Quinnen Williams and Will McDonald, Jermaine Johnson. Like, I thought they would get pressure on a team that's missing 3 of their starting offensive linemen. I guess not. I'm a little shocked by that, but now the 0-3 Jets play the 0-3 Dolphins next week on Monday Night Football. That's exciting. No, it is not. Yeah, I have no idea. So we can keep going here. Raiders 24, Commanders 41. A game where the score makes it look much bigger than it was. The Commanders, yeah, they won, but it really came off like 3 plays. Mariota had a 56-yard run that set them up in the red zone. Jeremy McNichols had a 60-yard touchdown run. They had a kick return. Deebo Samuel had a 70-yard kick return. Old Deebo would have scored that 100%. Like, they just had the big explosive plays in this one, while the Raiders just couldn't do anything. Good on the Commanders for getting this win. Impressive win. Needed this win, essentially. And always good to get a win with your backup quarterback. Shout out to Marcus Mariota. Raiders on the other side, though, it's not good. It's not good. The defense is, as it's been for the last several years, it's Max Crosby and then a bunch of other dudes just kind of running around out there, and Max Crosby trying his hardest. And that might be not fair to everyone else on the Raiders defense, but your defense has been shit for years, and it has only been Max Crosby for the last few years, so I'm going to continue to say it until someone else pops up on my radar to be like, okay, the Raiders now have 2 good defensive players starting. And the Raiders' offense, their offensive line is one of the worst in the league. I had optimistic hopes during the offseason of like, okay, like Colton Miller and Jackson Powers-Johnson, a few other guys in there, like it won't be like terrible. And no, it's terrible. Ashton Jeanty so far in the year, he has 144 yards rushing, and he has 146 yards rushing after contact. It's bad. It's bad. Like, I don't know how you have more rushing yards after contact than you do rushing yards, but that just kind of shows how much of a freak Ashton Jeanty is, and I hope that the run game was going to be better for them, and it is better, because Ashton Jeanty is just a million times better than Dylan Loeb or Zamir White or Sincere McCormick, but it's obviously been disappointing. And Geno Smith is trying his hardest, and hopefully the offensive line gets their shit together at least somewhat, but right now it's been bad, and we can keep going. Rams versus Eagles. Rams 26, Eagles 33. This was a wild game. This was a game that I was very happy to have on my television watching. And I'll just start with kind of the end of this one. Jordan Davis, best shape of his life, going into a contract year, and yeah, he's playing some of the best football of his life now, too. In this game, he had 1 turnover on down run stuff. He had 5 tackles, 1 sack, 1 QB hit, 1 tackle for loss, and then the game-winning field goal block, which he returned for a touchdown. He hit 18.59 miles per hour at 330 pounds. Jordan Davis is an absolute freak, and the whole thing with him is like, okay, if he can just kind of like get into shape a little bit. He was still such a raw player coming out of Georgia, and now, I guess 4 years into his career, yeah, he looks like a fucking stud. Like, looks like him and Jalen Carter. That is one of the best interior defensive line duos in the league right now. It's scary. It's scary to have that much man run at you, and when he's running fast too, absolutely scary, because it wasn't so much like, oh yeah, he got the scoop and score and they had to make a couple key blocks to like get him going. No one was catching him regardless. Like, he was moving. Jordan Davis is going to get an absolute bag from someone at the end of this year. We'll see who it is. But crazy game. And speaking of crazy, it was really the tale of two halves for the Eagles. The first half, I think Jalen Hurts had 30 passing yards going into the half, and then all of a sudden, third quarter happens, and look at that. They finally remember that they have one of the best wide receiver duos in the league with A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith, and yeah, A.J. Brown, who's like 220 all muscle, going against Emmanuel Forbes, who's maybe 180 soaking wet. Yeah, that's a good matchup that you should try to exploit, and that's exactly what they did. The passing attack went off in the second half. A.J. Brown had 100 yards, I think 109 yards on the day. Devonta Smith, 60 to 70. I'm not going to look it up, but yeah, the Eagles' offense finally looked like the Eagles, this team that we've all been missing for the most part. And yeah, they looked good. We'll see next week, because we now have 10 quarters of them just not throwing the football whatsoever and 2 quarters of them doing this, but I'm happy that they remembered that they have these two guys on their team who are both very, very good football players. People were worried, is A.J. Brown done? Is he washed? And no, A.J. Brown is still really good. He just wasn't getting the ball. I don't know scheme-wise, play-wise, if this is a Jalen Hurts and he's just not making those throws, or if this is a Eagles offensive coordinator, Kevin Patullo, who just wasn't calling up the right plays for A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith. But this is a game that the Eagles should have lost. This is the game that the Rams easily should have won. I think it was 26-9 at some point. I mean, they had 2 field goals where they could have won the game at the end, and both got blocked, one by Jalen Carter and then one by Jordan Davis, obviously, which was a scoop and score to win. But the Eagles look like they're back on track anyway, so that's great for them. Rams on the other side. Stafford passes Matt Ryan for 9th all-time on the career passing touchdowns list. Great for Matt Stafford, future Hall of Famer in my opinion. I guess we will see. Devonta Adams getting open, doing his thing, playing great football, as he always does. Puka Nacua doing his thing. They were running the football very, very well. Kyron Williams and Blake Corum look like a very good duo. As someone who has Blake Corum in fantasy, I would like to see more touches from him just a little bit. But, they all look good. Obviously, didn't come up when it matters. It was 2 blocked field goals at the end, which really changed the momentum of this game. But I will say, though, Rams kicker Josh Carty, it seems like the Rams have figured out this new kickoff rule where you got to kick off the ball into the landing zone, and then that's when you can go after the returner and yada yada, where teams have just been kind of kicking it off normally, where it's just the high arcing lob, returner gets it, boom, they return it. And now the Rams have just essentially started squib kicking it, so squib kicking it all over the special teams guys who are lined up ready to block and try to make the tackle. Just kind of line drive punting it, making it bounce a few times, making it roll awkwardly. A football is such a weird shape. You don't really know how it's going to bounce a lot of the time. And the Rams consistently kept pinning the Eagles 20 yards or less. This is how the rule should be played. Special teams matters. I got in an argument with people on Twitter about the new rule sucks, go back to the old rule, or just don't have kickoffs in general and just start at the 25. That's stupid. Special teams absolutely matter. Having that, kick returns are some of the most electric plays in football. Taking that away is dumb. And there's ways to defend that. What the Rams were just doing of kind of having a squib knuckleball bounce in that landing zone and have that returner try to scoop up an awkward ball, that's the way it should be done. The new rule is awesome. Anyone who says different doesn't like football, in my opinion. Get better on special teams. Find ways to break this rule just a little bit like the Rams were doing. I think that is the way going forward of what other teams should be doing. It's a very fun rule. We'll keep going. Falcons at Panthers. Falcons 0. Panthers 30. Honestly, I have nothing really to say about the Panthers. They did their job. They played good defense. Bryce Young and the offense did enough against the Falcons defense. That's about it. Ted McMillan, really good. Bryce Young, second best quarterback in the NFC South, which is Crazy thing to say. But the NFC South is terrible. Falcons on the other side. Michael Penix is bad. I knew that Michael Penix was bad. I tried to warn people that don't buy into the Michael Penix hype, but yeah, Michael Penix is not a good quarterback. And to me, it is hard to be a bad quarterback when you're throwing to Drake London, Darnell Mooney, Kyle Pitts, Bijan running the ball. Offensive line, obviously a little bit weaker with no Caleb McGarry, but it's still a good offensive line. He's just check down, refuses to throw the ball over top, which that was kind of his calling card in college, was taking these big, deep shots and being aggressive with the ball, and I don't know what's happened. But yeah, Michael Penix is not good. Michael Penix is 0-4 when teams score 7+ points. That's a very bad stat to be a part of. Kirk Cousins even got in the game late in this one. Obviously, it was just to avoid injury and blah, 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 but yeah, not good. And I gave GM Terry Fontenot a bit of a saving grace last year. I was like, okay, like, it looks like you fixed your defense. It looks like, the picks of, like, Billy Bowman, Xavier Watts, James Pierce Jr., Jalen Walker, even a couple of the guys from last year, Brandon Dorlus. It looks like they're kind of panning out, and that defense is turning a corner slightly. But now the offense has looked like it's taken a million steps back. Without Bijan, I don't know how this offense looks whatsoever. And now, Terry, we're back to the same spot of like, okay, you gave Kirk Cousins $140 million to play half a season for you, and then drafted a guy at 8th overall who might be shit. Again, back on the hot seat. I don't think he ever actually left the hot seat, but bad asset management all around. Michael Penix is, again, not a good quarterback. I will remain firmly planted on that hill. Other thing about the Falcons, John Parker Romo sucks. Fooled everyone last week, went 5 for 5, even though he almost missed a couple very short field goals. And then, yeah, he goes 0 for 2 in this one. The Falcons did end up cutting Younghoe Koo. So, yeah, they absolutely deserve this. Yeah, bad, again, bad. Bad, stupid plays. Next game up here, Bengals 10, Vikings 48. The Bengals are absolutely terrible. Like, one of the worst teams in the league, bar none, in my opinion. The defense, bad. The offensive line, bad. The running backs, kind of bad. Like, even Chase Brown. So Chase Brown has 47 carries so far on the year. He's averaging 2 yards a carry. Just 2 yards a carry. His longest rush on the year is only 11 yards. Like, everything about the Bengals has been absolutely terrible. Not blaming Jamar Chase or T. Higgins, but, like, everything else has been bad. I give a lot of credit to Vikings defensive coordinator Brian Flores. I mean, he's just insane of the where he lines up pre-snap. Oh, he's showing blitz. Oh, no, it's going to be man. No, it's cover 2. No, it's cover 3. No, it's a... Yeah. He's a madman. Brian Flores deserves all the credit in the world for this one. But, yeah, this Bengals team is terrible. Terrible. And, again, I don't know who they play this week. We'll find out on Friday's episode. But I think they have another tough matchup again where, yeah, I expect whoever plays the Bengals week after week to go off, essentially. And if you don't have a good game against the Bengals, you just won't have good games in general. But we're talking about how crazy this Vikings defense was, but really we have to give a shout out to Isaiah Rodgers for quite literally having one of the best defensive games of all time. Like, his stat line was absolutely nuts. 3 tackles, a pick 6, a forced fumble for a scoop and score, and just another forced fumble to just top it all off too. Again, don't give a lot of credit into PFF grades for whatever it's worth, but he had a 99.9 PFF grade. That is the highest grade I have ever seen. Isaiah Rodgers had an elite game from literally every single aspect of it. So shout out to Isaiah Rodgers. Shout out to Christian Darrisaw too. Comes back in this one and It's crazy how much a franchise left tackle changes your offense. Darisaw comes in, and all of a sudden, yeah, this offense looks a little functional. And again, they're playing the Bengals. It was a very good game for Darisaw to kind of get back into game shape again. Playing the Bengals, but Jordan Mason had a very good game in this one. Two TDs, over 100 yards, I think on like 6-something yards per carry. So very good game from Jordan Mason. Carson Wentz existed. He was on the field. He played football. He threw 2 TDs. Carson Wentz was just there for the ride, essentially. He was not very good. He was just kind of, again, he was there. He showed up. He played football. He won the game. They won 48-10. It was all good. They're now going to London to play the Steelers, so that should be interesting. But I'm going to end it here. I will get the rest of the games when I come back post-Woodsman practice. But until then, I'll be back. Okay, so I am back now. We can continue with the Week 3 recap. I think I ended with Vikings, Bengals. That sounds right. Oh, just one other note to add from that game. I think with like 3 minutes left, the score was 17-3 for the Vikings. Bengals had the ball, and then score going into half was 34-3. It just changed like that. Again, the Bengals suck. So we can keep going. Next game up here, Texans at Jags. Texans 10, Jags 17. This was one of the, I don't want to say worst games of the week, but yeah, it was bad. From the Jags standpoint, Josh Hines-Allen looks like a stud. Trayvon Walker looks like a stud. Devin Lloyd looks really good. Again, this defense is playing great. Or did they just play the Texans offense? Because the Texans offense, talk about that in a bit. Yeah, the Jags offense really had their hands full. This Texans defense is still one of the best units in the league, in my opinion. And they did everything that they could to stop the Jags. And realistically, 17 points, they did their job. Can't really say that the offense did their job, but again, we'll talk about that. I see a lot of people online doing the stupid thing of, it's mainly fantasy football people, of blaming Shane Waldron, who, I don't even know what his role is. Shane Waldron. He is currently, okay, yeah, so he is the passing game coordinator. So he is blaming, or fantasy football nerds are blaming Shane Waldron for Brian Thomas Jr. and Travis Hunter slow starts anyways, because they go back to, oh, well, when he was with Seattle with JSN's rookie year, JSN did terrible. Oh, when he was in Chicago for Rome Odunze's rookie year, Rome Odunze did terrible. And now he's in Jacksonville, and look at that, Brian Thomas Jr. and Travis Hunter both doing terrible. Shane Waldron has nothing to do with that. The Jags offense has also been functional, like has been good, it's been whatever. Brian Thomas Jr. can't catch a ball. The Jags also just lead the league in drop rate by a hefty margin, I believe. So yes, it's not Shane Waldron's fault. It's fun to point blame at Shane Waldron, but no, it is not his fault. Yeah, the Jags won this. They're 2-1 on the season. I don't really have a ton to say about them. Again, more fantasy football dorks getting mad at like, oh, Travis Hunter not getting used and the blah blah blah, and it's like, yeah, he's still being very effective on defense, and yeah, maybe his role isn't completely prominent, but yeah, it's week 3. He has tons of time to blossom into the potential superstar that he might be. Texans on the other side, their offense just truly isn't functional at this point. And I've talked about this patchwork offensive line that they tried to put together. It's very, very bad. Like, very bad. But it doesn't really stop there. CJ Stroud has also been really fucking bad. Literally since week 2 last year, he's had 19 touchdowns and 15 interceptions. Like, CJ Stroud's rookie year was incredible, like, and then, yeah, last year was like, oh, I mean, he was due to some regression, obviously, and yeah, the offense wasn't, and then it's not any better this year. And yes, the offensive line is bad, but CJ Stroud has also just not been good. Would CJ Stroud be better with a better offensive line? Yeah, of course that he would, but it should still look like a functioning offense. Right now, it's not a functioning offense whatsoever. And again, having better people in the running game than Nick Chubb and Woody Marks potentially, like, that might help too, but Again, I just look back at the decision in April of, let's trade back and not draft Josh Simmons, and they should have just drafted Josh Simmons. I think it's as simple as that. I am worried about the Texans. Again, I think that this defense will be one of the better defenses in the league this entire year, but that offense really has to figure out something quickly, or the Colts and the Jags are just going to keep pulling away from them for the division race. Next game up here, Packers at Cleveland Browns. Packers 10, Browns 13. I am shocked that this game went to the Browns, but this Browns defense is back to being incredible, really back into that 2023 form. Of course, Myles Garrett is still an absolute stud. We all know this. He's one of the best defensive players that I have ever watched with my own eyes. It's probably him and J.J. Watt 1-2 for me anyways. And the Browns' run defense especially has been incredible so far. So on the 48 carries that they've faced from running backs, and that's between Chase Brown, Derrick Henry, and Josh Jacobs, they have held all three of those guys to a combined 96 yards at 2 yards per carry. That is just insane. And again, those aren't some like scrubs to be like, oh, Derrick Henry, Josh Jacobs, and Chase Brown. Those are three very good running backs, and they held them to 2 yards a carry. Absolutely crazy. Mason Graham had a 43% pass rush win rate in this game too. He's really coming into his own. Carson Schwessinger, the rookie out of UCLA, he is taken over for Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah when he's coming back from his injury, and he has filled that role almost seamlessly. Like, again, a bunch of picks that Andrew Berry has made in this draft have seemingly hit so far. And yeah, this Browns defense is just incredible again. I would say probably top 3 in the league, top 5 definitely, but yeah, if the Browns have that strong of a defensive unit again, it won't take much for the offense to just pick up a little bit. I don't think that'll be this year because Joe Flacco does not look good. I don't think Dylan Gabriel is good. I don't think Shedeur Sanders is good, at least for not this year anyways. Yeah, Browns D is what won them a game. Packers on the other side. Zach Tom came back from an injury probably too soon. Now looks like he's going to be out for quite a while. That is a big, big injury for them on that offensive line. Aaron Banks, who they gave a shit ton of money in the offseason, is still hurt. So they just have a hurt offensive line. But again, with the amount of, and they're not quality weapons out at wide receiver, but they just have 5 guys who can all make plays essentially. And I guess I'll knock that down to 4 guys because Jaden Reed is out. But yeah, no one could make a play. They couldn't run the ball. Again, the defense did its job, but it's fairly easy to stop Joe Flacco at this point, in my opinion. And then, yeah, it was the rookie running back Quinshon Judkins who made a few plays late that got the Browns in scoring position. This was a shocker. I thought, the Packers are one of the best teams in the league, and I think that they still are one of the best teams in the league. But now, again, I think that their defense will be consistently really good the entire season, where I think that this offense can fluctuate from game to game. Unfortunately for Josh Jacobs, his touchdown streak is over. I'm just going to clarify that just to make sure that it actually is over before I say it, but I already did say it, so I'm just going to roll with it, I think. Yes, he did not score. That was the other tight end I missed off. John Fitzpatrick also scored a touchdown in this one. Who the hell is John Fitzpatrick? I have no idea. But yeah, not worried about the Packers. Again, I think that their offense will fluctuate for most of the season. Again, it can be consistent, but without consistent offensive line play, it is tough. Browns on the other side, they will have a very good defense that will keep them in games that they probably shouldn't be in, but I don't think this offense, and especially Joe Flacco, is good enough to really get them there. We'll keep going here. Broncos 20, Chargers 23. This is a game that the Chargers typically always lose. And the fact that they came back and won in this one, big confidence booster in Justin Herbert, MVP anyways. He put the team on his back. He made some absolutely incredible wow throws in this one, especially late. The scramble outside, he has Nick Bonito right in his face, and he kind of curves that ball in around Nick Bonito to find Keenan Allen in the end zone for that game-winning touchdown. it's the Chargers offense is really good, and I just more compliments to Herbert anyways. He was pressured 54.7% of the time on just 4-man rushes, straight dropbacks, blah blah blah. It didn't matter. He made the plays that they needed to. He evaded to. Like, they got home, but the Chargers didn't charger themselves, which is crazy. This is a game that they always lose, and the fact that they won this one, absolutely huge. Shout out to the offense. They did great. Unfortunately, Najee Harris did tear his Achilles. He's obviously out for the year. But in his absence, Omarion Hampton came alive, made some big plays in the run game, big plays in the pass game. So obviously it looks like they have something in Omarion Hampton anyways. I am worried about the Chargers defense without Khalil Mack. Their pass rush was almost non-existent in this game, gave Bo Nix a lot of time to kind of figure out what he wanted to do, but good thing for the Chargers, Bo Nix is bad. So when Bo Nix had the opportunities to hit some shots, maybe put the nail in the coffin, he consistently missed them because, again, Bo Nix is bad. But with that Chargers defense, don't really have a pass rush, but with Jesse Minter calling the plays, and again, the rest of the defense, they got dudes. Derwin James is still an absolute stud. He kind of, for the last few years anyways, he had a couple years there where he was still like a really good player, but he wasn't like the Derwin James that we saw closer to around like 2020. He's back to around that 2020 form. He is one of the best defensive players in the NFL. Right now, Alohi Gilman is opposite him, is a very, very good young safety. Cam Hart, Tarheeb still playing very good at corner. Even Dante Jackson has had a few good reps that I've seen. Just on the Dayon Henley at linebacker has been great so far. Tahir Tart, I don't know why Miami ever let him go, but he's been great. Rookie Jamari Caldwell too has been, like, they just got dudes. There's a lot of guys who, again, star power, it's Derwin James, and then a bunch of dudes. But those bunch of dudes I really, really like. Again, I'm still iffy 50-50. Like, I do think the Chargers defense can be like a average, slightly above average unit, but I do think this offense will have to carry, and the offense has been carrying them so far. Broncos on the other side, again, their defense played really, really well. They held up for almost 90% of the game. It's just your offense. Your offense is bad. And when I say the offense is bad, it's Bo Nix. I've already talked about this a little bit. Just Bo Nix has time in the pocket, and he cannot throw to anyone down the field. He had multiple opportunities where he needed to throw deep. Someone was wide open, and he missed them. This, like, literally the whole season, or the whole Broncos season, relied on Bo Nix taking that next step in order for the offense to get better, in order for the defense to not carry them completely. And it looks like they're having the almost exact same season as last year, which, hey, they made the playoffs last year, but they also got blown out in the first round, where it looks like it's just trending towards that again. I'm not a believer in Bo Nix. I never will be. So we can keep moving on. Next game here, Saints 13, Seahawks 44. This game was over after the first quarter. It was dominant for the Seahawks from the very, very beginning. Honestly, like, simple as that. JSN crushing it. Torrey Horton Jr. had a punt return TD. Kick return TD? Punt return TD? Either way. Had a return TD. Also caught another touchdown in this one. He looks like he is going to be the second option for this Seahawks team. Yes, they have Cooper Kupp, but I think that Torrey Horton is kind of that deep shot option that Clint Kubiak has been looking for this offense. So I think that's going to be Torrey Horton. The Seahawks defense is just absolute lights out. No Julian Love, no Devin Witherspoon in this game, and they still fed the Saints their lunch. Like, again, this game was over after the first quarter, was sealed, signed, delivered at halftime. Drew Lock even got in the game late. Like, this was, again, it was a 0-0 game. Saints on the other side, like, I literally have nothing. They're not a good team. Nothing to really talk about that they did in this one, so I'll just keep going. Cardinals at 49ers. Cardinals 15, 49ers 16. It was field goal after field goal after field goal after field goal. And then we finally had some late touchdowns. Niners come out on top. Niners are first in the NFC West at 3-0. Unfortunately for them, the injury bug just keeps on biting. Nick Bosa tears his ACL, is out for the year. This is a really, really big blow to this Niners defense. Like, Nick Bosa is their star pass rusher. Now they really have to rely on Michael Williams and Bryce Huff to be those guys, but obviously neither of them can fill in the void that Nick Bosa will leave. And now I think that the Niners Super Bowl hopes are kind of gone for this year. Yes, a lot can happen, and we'll see, and maybe Mike Hell takes a huge step, or Bryce Huff gets back to kind of his Jets playing days, and he is playing very well this year. I will give Bryce Huff credit there. But yeah, the Niners are in a tough spot now. Their offense is already so hurt, but in the next couple weeks, that offense is going to be back to almost fully healthy anyways. And the offense is going to have to carry them. The offense is going to absolutely have to carry them. But again, an offense with Brock Purdy at the helm, with Christian McCaffrey running the ball, throwing it to George Kittle, Ricky Pearsall, Brandon Ayuk, Jawan Jennings. Like, that is a very, very strong offense. And the offense will have to score a shit ton of points in order to, again, when they're like competing playoff time, like, their offense is going to have to do most of the heavy lifting. I think that the Niners defense will still be like a solid unit, but it won't be above average to like top 10 potentially. So it's tough. But again, the Niners first in the division. Mac Jones, another big win. I'm still on the stance that Mac Jones will have the opportunity to start somewhere next year. It honestly might be in Miami, but it is what it is. Cardinals on the other side. The B word is something that is starting to get used when we talk about Marvin Harrison Jr. Now, I'm not there yet. I have not thrown around that word for Marv yet, but bust is definitely getting thrown out there when we're talking about him. He had, a play in this one, wide open. No one was around him for at least 15, 20 yards, and wide open drop. And for some reason, he decided to do the thing that you're not supposed to do when you're wide open, is like jump when you're trying to catch the ball and you don't need to jump. It's exactly what he did. He dropped the ball. That probably would have been an easy touchdown for whoever. Had another play where he was just coming underneath. I don't even think that the ball was meant for him, but he got his hands on it. Would have been a tough catch, but he probably should have caught it. Marv, I still think Marv can be a great receiver. I obviously think that just based off who his father is, his pedigree at Ohio State, like, he was so good. And I do think that the offensive role and the offense that he got drafted to in general doesn't help him progress or get enough of these like tough mental reps that I don't even know what I'm trying to say. Like, I still think that Marv is good, but like, if he would have went to the Giants, or if he would have went to Chicago instead of Rome or Malik, yeah, I think that he'd probably be producing similar numbers to those guys. It's just his situation is not as good, and it's not, passing attack heavy, get you the ball. The Cardinals love running the ball, and they run it effectively, and it's fine. And Marv said as long as they keep winning, it's okay, but like, those bad drops, like, those have to stop. Like, you get drafted, what was he, 4th overall? Those plays just can't happen. Again, I still believe in his talent immensely, but it's awful to see. And yeah, bust is definitely a word that has been getting thrown out about him. What else can we... Oh yeah, James Conner. James Conner, unfortunately, broken ankle, I think. Not good. He's out for the year too. So second-year running back Trey Benson is taking over the lead back role. He has been producing well. They've kind of been doing a 50-50 split between Connor and Benson, where Connor's still getting all the goal line work. So yeah, Trey Benson is that guy now. I'm very interested to see how he ends up performing. Should be good. I think that if you're a fantasy guy and Trey Benson's somehow like a free agent, or maybe you just try making a move for him, because I do think that Trey Benson will kind of match James Conner's production, and if you're a big fan of James Conner, you should be a big fan of Trey Benson. So very tough 2 injuries for both teams in this game. We'll keep going here. Cowboys at Bears. Cowboys 14, Bears 31. Welcome to the NFL, Caleb Williams. That was probably the best game of his career so far. 19 of 28, 298 yards, 4 TDs on the day. Also added 12 yards rushing. I didn't really need to probably mention that one. Yeah, Caleb Williams played great. That was also the first game of his career where he didn't get sacked. Maybe if the Cowboys had some kind of pass rusher, like, I don't know, that would be like helpful. But yeah, Caleb played great. Ben Johnson called a great game too. Luther Burden, 3 catches, 101 yards and a TD, and that throw to him, I'm trying to remember, it was the longest air yards throw of the year from Caleb to Luther Burden. And again, Caleb has all of the talent in the world. He just kind of needs to rein it in a little bit, but this was a very positive game for the Bears and the Bears offense. Bears running game, non-existent. They need to find someone who can come in and do something. But yeah, the Bears offense looked great. This is, again, it's positive news. However, they did play against the Cowboys defense, and the Cowboys defense might be one of the worst in the league. Honestly, probably on par with how bad the Bengals defense is. Again, Trayvon Diggs is burnt toast at this point. Deron Bland isn't playing. Kenny Clark got hurt in this one. They just don't have guys anywhere that can really do anything. The Cowboys are awful. CeeDee Lamb leaves with a sprained ankle in this one. He should be okay. He might miss some time, but we'll see. But yeah, this Cowboys defense is absolutely horrendous. We all kind of knew this once they traded Micah Parsons, that it was going to be this bad. And what does Jerry Jones come out and say? He said that they might use the picks from the Micah Parsons trade to trade for a potentially special player on defense. Jerry, you had a special player on defense, and you traded him away for those picks. And again, you should have got way more for what you got in that trade. And I don't know if Jerry Jones is saying this in jest and saying this and playing up to the media. I think that once you hit 80, you don't really joke around anymore. You just kind of say things audibly and people take you at your word. I don't think that Jerry Jones, when he said that, we'll look into using these picks to potentially get a special player. Like, I don't think that he's joking around to be like, oh, haha, like that's what like we did the inverse of, and now we'll just do it again. I don't know. Jerry Jones is just like, he's that old Family Guy scene where Peter gets a boat, or he wins a boat, and then in the office when he's signing his papers, the guy's like, well, I could give you a boat, or I could give you this mystery box. And Peter's like, oh, gotta take the mystery box. And I was like, but we've always wanted a boat. We were getting the boat, Peter. But he's like, but a mystery box could be anything. It could even be a boat. That's Jerry Jones. He sees these draft picks, and it's like, oh, Micah Parsons, no thank you. These draft picks, but they could be Micah Parsons. Jerry Jones, again, Cowboys fans, you gotta wait till Jerry dies until you have any kind of production, but I don't know, until you can go forward as a quality team, until you can, I don't know, really, like, again, have an owner that actually knows what they're doing, have a general manager, that actually knows what they're doing. And the final game up here, Chiefs at Giants. Chiefs 22, Giants 9. Wasn't a pretty game. not in the absolute slightest, but the Chiefs do come out on top. Tyquan Thornton looks like he's the only Chiefs offensive weapon that has any sort of explosiveness under him. This is a crazy stat. Pat Mahomes is averaging 25.2 air yards per target when targeting Tyquan. Like, every time he targets him, he's throwing half the football field at least. Like, that is a crazy, crazy stat. But everyone else on this Chiefs offense, at least like the skill position guys, not good. Travis Kelce's still good, but he's not Travis Kelce. He's still getting in fights with Andy Reid. I think Travis Kelce is on the verge of losing a lot of fans, potentially. I don't know where I'm really going with that, but Travis Kelce, I think he's already rubbing a lot of people the wrong way, just how prominent he is with the media, and obviously the Taylor Swift stuff is hard to avoid ever. But him being a diva about it, potentially, not good whatsoever. The Chiefs did manage to hang on in this one. Chiefs defense, I mean, the Giants offense is so bad where the Chiefs defense really didn't have to do much, literally the entire game. I already talked about the Chiefs offense, just basically goes through Tyquan Thornton. But Isaiah Pacheco had two incredibly bad plays in this one. One of them was like Pat Mahomes threw it backwards for him. He caught it and then just threw it on the ground. That should have been a fumble. And the other one is he went out to block, got spun around, and then he was supposed to release into the flat, and he started running backwards. Pat Mahomes threw it to him anyways. Fumble. Pacheco doesn't get the ball, doesn't even try to make the tackle on Bobby Okereke, but lucky for him, Pat Mahomes comes in, rips the ball out of Bobby Okereke's hands, they get the ball back, everything's fine and good. Chris Collinsworth, though, during that play was just admiring Pat Mahomes on that play and being like, what an effort, what a play by Mahomes. It's like, he caused that play. Obviously, Pacheco was like the big factor in that play of why it stunk so much, because he literally ran the wrong way down the field. But Mahomes should have maybe saw that and maybe not threw it at his feet and all that stuff. But Collinsworth was just glazing Mahomes for, again, getting the ball from Okereke. That's a great play, but it's also like he was part of the reason why that was a fumble. He doesn't get credit for getting the ball back when he fumbles. Either way, I'm kind of really getting done with Chris Collinsworth as a commentator. I think that he's been well past his prime for years now, but regardless. Giants on the other side. Russell Wilson, it is high time you retire. You have had a great career, Super Bowl champion, one-time All-Pro, 10-time Pro Bowler. Last week, had that incredible game versus the Cowboys, 400 yards, multi-TDs. And then in this one, complete dog shit. Like, literally probably one of the worst games of his career. And now he gets benched for Jackson Dart, and that is essentially it for Russ's career, at least in my opinion anyways. The way that Russ is going to be talked about in like a decade from now is going to be crazy hindsight, because his time with Seattle, he was a top 5 quarterback for most of it, at least for like my estimation anyways. Definitely a top 10 quarterback his entire time there. Then he gets traded to Denver, and he's like a bottom 10 quarterback for the rest of his career, essentially. And a lot of people are just going to remember the Broncos, Steelers, Giants years with him, and that's fine. That's why we have league historians to better educate people, but it's not good. Like, Russ should be a Hall of Famer, but I think there's going to be a lot of detractors now just because of how his career ended and how terribly it ended. Where it's not like I was going to use Peyton Manning as an example, but that's a bad example because he walked off into the sunset with a Super Bowl. But like that last year of Peyton Manning was really bad. He got benched for Brock Osweiler, like all that stuff. Where Russ has been bad for the last 5 years. And that doesn't really look like it's going away. It's definitely not going away. Like, Russ is well past his prime, but this should be the last year of Russell Wilson playing football. People said, oh, maybe he can get, like, his contract is basically nothing. Maybe if another starter goes down, he can get traded or something. I have no idea, but just Russ should not be playing football anymore, really. The only other thing for the Giants here is Cam Scatterbo is that dude. 16 touches, 121 total yards, and a TD on the game. He is a violent man. He craves contact. He is very, very fun to watch. And that will probably be one of the only reasons I tune into Giants games for the rest of the year. Obviously, that defense is still a lot of fun. Brian Burns playing unreal. Abdul Carter's still great. They're dropping him back in the coverage a lot just because they also have Kayvon Thibodeau, who he's coming alive too. But yeah, I'm interested to see what the offense looks like with Jackson Dart, Malik Neighbors, Cam Scatterbo. See if they can move the ball a little bit better anyway. See if Brian Dable can save his job potentially. But we'll talk about more of that on Friday's episode. But that'll do it for this episode here. My laptop's about to die, so I'm just going to end it right now. As always, if you have liked this, please like, share, retweet, subscribe, tell your friends, all that fun stuff. And until next time, peace.